Welcome back, shop rats. It's time to spend another day here in the shop to get an authentic and transparent look at what it's like for all the stuff we have to do all the projects we do. Not everything can be sexy and fun. Some things just got to get done. Today, we've got a bunch of little miscellaneous things that we're doing to try to get pieces in place to move forward on the bigger picture projects that you guys like so much. Stick around, it's going to be fun. I'm Mike.
This is My Cars Shop.
I have been moving forward on getting the new truck home that I purchased. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to get wheels on it. We'll get to that in a minute, but yesterday I did drag out Sassy and get it up here. It's got one hoof that keeps going flat, so I got to change a tire on that. The carburetor on that thing was gummed up, gummier than a gummy thing, and I ended up having to take the carburetor off of the Golden Mullet to put on this so that it would run, because the Golden Mullet's frame is crushed so bad now I don't dare move the car again, so I won't be running that anymore. And that was all just for fun anyway. But this car I need to be able to move around. I want to get it over here, wherever that is, over there under the tent, so it's more out of the weather, because we are going to be working on that car again soon. In the back of my pickup, I have a part for the new truck, which I'm still trying to come up with a name for. You guys haven't seen that yet, and you won't until I'm going to bring it home. But let's go get that, and we're going to talk a little bit about what needs to happen. So what we have here is a wheel assembly and hub assembly off of the crew cab truck that I purchased. And what happened was, when it's at my buddy Dave's house now, and when he was moving it around, the left front wheel fell off. So I went there today. I knew the hub was there and everything. It's missing the tire, obviously. But I went there today to look at exactly what's missing. The nut, the washer, and the inner bearing are there, but the outer bearing disintegrated. So I'm going to dig around, maybe, and see if I can find a bearing that will fit this. If we have to, I suppose we could purchase a new one. I did talk to my buddy John, and he said he has some, so we could always, he has a set of hubs and stuff for one of these trucks that I can have. So we've got options, but I think the simplest solution would be to stick some kind of a bearing in there that's going to be close enough for who it's for that we can just bolt this wheel on there and roll that truck around. I also want to get this rim off of the hub, so we're going to start with that. It looks like we better get out some Croil and soak those down. So we got our Aero Croil, our liquid gold in a can. And just dribble a little on each one. Let that soak for a little bit, and then we'll get our impact gun out and see what we can see. This stuff is $30-some a can last time I bought it. It's worth it if you really need it, but man, I have a hard time spending that much money for a can of liquid. But, we proved on the 413 that it works really well, so we're going to let that soak. I'm going to get my socket, and we'll see what we can do. So that's good. It came off, but we need to get the hub out. Now it's rusted to the rim, so we'll have to get a little creative on how to do that. That's a big disc right there. Well, I know I have a box of wheel bearings around somewhere. Can't find it. It looks to me like it's similar to the inside bearing on a Dart drum brake car, but I think I'm going to get online and see if I can find the cheapest piece of Chinesium junk that I can to just replace this with. If I can get one for $10, $15, that's probably what we'll do, just to get it done so that I'm not wasting lots of time. I don't normally like to throw money at something, but until I get my warehouse organized, it's a bit chaotic. And Yeah, anyway, so let me get online, see what I can find, and we may have to order some. All right, called around a little bit, and my local jobber that I normally buy through doesn't have it in stock, and it is about $30. O'Reilly's has it for about $13, bearing in race. So I'll probably just get the cheap one from O'Reilly's, because the main purpose of this is going to be getting it home. Although obviously if I can use that wheel bearing moving forward, then we will. So I probably will run up and get that here in a little bit, and we'll see about getting it installed. If you're going to take a trip, you might as well use a muscle car, right? Got enough room over there? Good deal. All right, let's go. Alrighty, we got our bearing. I thought it came with the race. It didn't, but so what? I don't care. Fits in there nicely. So we're good. So I'm going to work on getting this race cleaned up just a little bit, and then we'll clean the other side up a little bit and make sure that, I mean, we're not rolling this anywhere more than a few feet to put it on the trailer and take it off the trailer. But still, I want to just see the condition of everything while I'm here. So I got it cleaned up, and you can see the race is shot. Now it'll be fine for pushing it on and off the trailer, but I figured it was shot, being as the outer bearing was completely wasted. But maybe I'll pick one of those up too, and just have it that way. I don't ruin this. But if I pack this full of grease real good and put that in there to move the truck around for a little bit, it'll be just fine for short term. So as long as I'm not going to go 1,000-mile trip or whatever, because obviously that's not going to last. And this was $13. So is it the end of the world if this gets ruined and I have to replace it? No, but obviously I'm very frugal and I don't want to do that if necessary. All right, I'm going to flip it over and check out the race on the other side. It's got very nice chunks of gravel in there, so that's good. All right, got that cleaned up good enough, and you can see it's got all kinds of galling in it, so we'll probably replace that one too. And it doesn't surprise me if the outer one was shot, then the inner one was doing this, and so I feel some marks in it, so that's fine. I think my buddy John has another set of spindles and hubs for this truck. Anyway, I just don't know if they're this is the 4,000 pound axle, which I want. I don't know if his are the 3,300 pound axle, which I would prefer not. I'd rather have the heavier axle on it with the Cummins that's going in it. So anyway, that's good progress. Where I'm at this point is I got the car jacked up, and I need to get a better wheel and tire on there temporarily till I can get a different tire on that rim. So we're going to take care of that. We want to keep this car mobile, and I don't like having a vehicle that the tires go flat on all the time. There we go on that. She's got all of her faculties back together again. So now I can move this over closer to there where it's going to go. I got some work to do out there, but at least I can get it over in the ballpark for now, and it'll be ready to pull in there real soon. I don't remember if I disconnected the battery last night or not. Guess not. Wow. That starts better than it used to. This car only has 45,710 miles on it. It had about 35,000 on it, I think, when we bought it. It was purchased brand new by a woman in 74. She drove it a couple years, put 30,000 miles on it, died. The family just parked it behind the barn, and it sat there for years. And then another guy that I know bought it, and he had it for years sitting in the weeds. And by the time we got it, it was bad. It was really bad. rusted into the ground, but we've bought new sheet metal for it, and we hung 1/4. I've got another one. Structurally, it's still good, but and mechanically, it's still pretty good. Other than it's got a bad brake line, but she needs some help. So one of these days, the dash used to be gorgeous in this car, but unfortunately, from neglect, it's what happens when you don't pay attention to them. So all right, let's move her. So the next steps now, we'll get that car put in under the tarp so it stays more out of the weather, and we still need to make room in there for the lawnmowers. The piece of equipment that I've got coming should be here this week, hopefully. I talked to my nephew about that on Monday, and he was hoping to bring it this week because the ground is still too wet for them to get in the fields. I just talked to my buddy that has the white truck that I painted. We're going to get the box here real soon. So that's some of what's going on. Is it's just a giant logic puzzle of what has to happen to prepare yourself for the next steps. So it's like that, that game of parking lot. You've got to move this to move that to get this to get that. If I had a bigger shop, of course, that wouldn't be an issue, but I don't. So we're preparing for the work that's coming. We're trying to do the work that's here. We're transitioning into working on the nice weather cars like the Oakland and the 47 Ford and the GTS and the Charger. But I've also got to have room for bringing that piece of equipment in while still doing work in the shop. I have to have a place to park a nicer car, which isn't under the tent. So, like if I need to park the Oakland in the back room, that's opened up now. So I got a little lawn work to do out there. So this car may end up back there for a while, or it can go in the trailer. This is the smallest car, so it makes the most sense. But so anyway, there's a lot of logic puzzle stuff that has to happen to make things all fall in together and into place so that when other people are ready to do the things that they have volunteered to do for me or with me, they're not waiting on me to get stuff done on my end. And that's a lot of what's been happening here for the last month. I struggle with calling it behind the scenes because I don't really hide anything from you guys. I share things pretty transparently and authentically and just try to act like you're here with me, helping me work on XYZ, whatever we're doing. So that's the way it is. I'm excited about the crew cab, about what's coming with that. A little hint on that. If you notice that, that's a rotor off of a 2-wheel drive truck. So it's a crew cab 2-wheel drive. So there's a little teaser for you about what's coming there. I just talked to my buddy whose house it's at, and he's going to get the front end of it lifted up so that when I get tires, we can bolt the tires on and we can get that hub put back on there. It would be beneficial for him anyway to have that so he could move it around without having to move it with his tractor all the time. And it'd be better for the truck. So moving it around with the bucket on a tractor, stuff can happen to it. So, wow, I got to regroup here for a minute. Both my friends, Mark and Matt, want to come back and continue on with their respective parts of Stitches. It's just a matter of my scheduling and figuring things out. We got something else going on this weekend, so I'm not going to be able to be out here in the shop much. It's just that time of year. But I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your interest in stuff. I obviously demonstrating a lot of how to, but I've not found a lot of channels that just who share it all. It's not all, ooh, I'm accomplishing all of this great work. There's a lot of just garbage work that has to be done to get things ready for more of the ooh work that gets done. So We'll see if the numbers show it or not on the viewing, obviously, but I know the diehards here on the channel will watch it, and I appreciate you guys, and I try to give you content that you'll find interesting, informative, and if you do this kind of work, you'll be able to relate, and if you don't, it'll be things you go, wow, I didn't realize. Just having 12 cars, and most of them not being on the road. We have way more than 12 cars. I'm talking 12 collector cars, and most of them not being on the road doesn't mean they can just be neglected, because it's important to me that every vehicle that's here is able to be moved and moved around so we can mow around it or reorganize things or whatever. I don't like having a vehicle sitting out even behind the shop. There's two back there that don't move, one that doesn't move at all and one that doesn't move easily, but they can move if they need to. But for the most part, I really try to make sure that everything moves around so that there's an ebb and a flow to everything. And that takes work. Just even keeping tires that don't go flat takes work. So that's part of doing this and living this lifestyle that I choose to live here with cars. All right. Thanks for being here. There'll be some better stuff coming real soon, I promise. We'll catch you on the next one. Rock!